I started thinking about how easy it is for the things that we once enjoyed to start quietly disappearing from our lives, especially when life gets difficult and busy and hard. Sometimes that looks like grief or divorce or heartbreak, illness, job loss, financial pressure. There are seasons when just getting through the day takes literally almost everything we've got. But sometimes nothing terrible happened at all. Maybe it's just that life got busy. Welcome to the Bounce Back Black Woman podcast. I'm Dell, coach, author, mom, and your sister along this journey of healing, growth, resilience, and living more intentionally. As Black women, we know all too well that life can break our hearts in more ways than one. But here in this space, we heal, grow, rebuild, and bounce back together. Because it's not just you. It's not just me. It's us. Hey there, my friend, and welcome back to Bounce Back Black Woman. I want to start out this episode by asking you a question that's a little lighter than most of them that I start with. When was the last time that you did something for absolutely no other reason than because you enjoyed doing it? Not because somebody needed you to or asked you to, not because it was productive and what you should be doing, not because it was good for your career or your health, not because you could make money from it, not because you were trying to improve yourself, not because it was going to make good content for social media, or even because you were particularly good at it. You just liked doing it. Can you think of something? Anything? And if that took you a minute, this episode might just be for you. You see, today I want to talk to you about something that's a little lighter than most of our usual topics. Not because it isn't important, but because I think sometimes we spend so much time talking about the difficult parts of life, healing and growth, resilience and boundaries and courage and all of the things that we need to do, that sometimes we forget that there are other things that matter too. And one of those things is enjoying our lives. That's it. No deep explanation required. You are allowed to simply enjoy your life sometimes. And more specifically, you are allowed to spend some of your time doing things just because you enjoy doing them. I started thinking about how easy it is for the things that we once enjoyed to start quietly disappearing from our lives, especially when life gets difficult and busy and hard. Sometimes that looks like grief or divorce or heartbreak, illness, job loss, financial pressure. There are seasons when just getting through the day takes literally almost everything we've got. But sometimes nothing terrible happened at all. Maybe it's just that life got busy. You got married, had children, or built a career, went back to school, bought a house, took care of aging parents, joined committees, volunteered, moved across the country, became the person that everybody calls on when something needs to get done. And some of those things might be wonderful for you. They might have been wonderful when you were asked to do them. But here's something that we don't say enough. Good things can exhaust you too. You can be exhausted because your life is falling apart. I've been there. But you can also be exhausted because your life is wonderfully, beautifully, and ridiculously full. And either way, somewhere in all of that fullness, the things that you used to do, simply because they made you happy, can slowly move further and further down the list. Until one day somebody asks, "So what do you like to do for fun?" And you're like, Um, Fun? Define fun. And that's because we think in our minds that now we're adults. We have calendars and responsibilities and people who depend on us and laundry, because there's always laundry. And even when we do get a little free time, sometimes we're so tired that we spend it scrolling on our phones or watching something on TV. Not necessarily because that's what we most enjoy doing, but because it's the easiest thing to do when we don't have the energy to figure out anything else. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because there really isn't. Sometimes lying on the couch and watching TV is exactly what you want to do. But I do think that it's worth stopping and asking ourselves on purpose every now and again, what is it that I do enjoy doing? Not what am I good at? Not what am I supposed to enjoy at this age? Not what would be productive and useful. Just what brings me joy. And maybe the first place to look is backward. What is it you used to love doing before you got the big demanding job, or before all of the kids started needing you to drop them here and there, or before your spouse needed you to take care of them more as they aged? Maybe you loved to dance. Maybe you loved to read novels for hours and hours, or paint, or do needlepoint, or play tennis, or garden. Maybe went fishing or to concerts. Maybe you used to sew or knit. Maybe you played an instrument or went bowling or did jigsaw puzzles on the kitchen table. Maybe you used to get together with your girlfriends and play cards and laugh and drink and high five and all of that. Maybe you used to sing. Maybe you loved to cook when it wasn't attached to the responsibility of feeding 4 or 5 or 6 other people. But whatever it was, I want to ask you, when did you stop? And more importantly, why did you stop? Maybe there's a reason. Maybe your life changed. Maybe your body changed. Maybe your finances changed. Maybe you moved somewhere that made it harder to do those things. Or maybe even the people that you used to do it with aren't in your life anymore. Or maybe you just got busy. And one day became 1 week. And then 1 week became 1 year. And eventually that thing that you once loved became something that you talked about in past tense. Oh, I used to do that all the time. I used to dance, or I used to paint. I used to travel, or I used to sing. Maybe you don't want to do that thing anymore, and that's okay. This isn't an assignment to go resurrect every hobby that you've ever tried since elementary school, because you are different now, which means there's another question that's just as important as what did I used to enjoy? And that new question is, what might this version of me enjoy? Maybe there's something you've always wanted to try. Pottery or photography, pickleball, a dance class, gardening, hiking, painting or golf, learning a new language, karaoke, whatever. I think sometimes adults have a hard time trying new things because we're uncomfortable being beginners. We like being competent. We like knowing what it is we're doing, and we like being good at things. Kids don't care. A child will draw something completely unrecognizable and walk up to you proudly and hand it to you and say, "Look what I drew." And you look at it and smile, and you have absolutely no idea what it is you're looking at. But they are thrilled. Yet as adults, we take one painting class and we walk out saying, "Yeah, I don't think I'm very good at this." Who asked? Who cares? Did you have fun? Did you laugh? Did you enjoy the colors? Did you try something new and enjoy learning it? Did you spend 2 hours not thinking about your responsibilities that await you? If any of those is true, then maybe you got exactly what you needed from that class. Somewhere along the way, my friend, I think many of us started believing that enjoyment has to be justified. That if we're going to spend time doing something, it should accomplish something, improve something, produce something. And if we're good at it, oh Lord, now somebody wants us to turn it into a business. You bake really well. You should sell those. You paint. You should open an Etsy shop. You sing. You should start a YouTube channel. You make beautiful flower arrangements. You could do weddings. I want to press pause on all of that. Can we just please like something for fun and let it stop there? Because here's something I want you to remember. You don't have to be good at everything that you enjoy doing. And you don't have to make money from everything you're good at. You can just be good at it. Some things are allowed to exist in your life simply because they make your life fuller and more enjoyable. Period. No business plan required. And I say that as someone who believes deeply in doing things with intention. But intentional living isn't just about making responsible choices. It isn't just about setting goals or establishing boundaries or healing wounds or having tough conversations or figuring out what's next. Being intentional also means stopping and asking, what kind of life am I actually creating and living? Because if everything on your calendar is there because somebody needs something from you, where are you in your life? If every hour has to be productive, when do you play and laugh and enjoy and relax and express? When are you curious? When do you do something poorly and enjoy the hell out of yourself anyway? When do you experience something simply because you wanted to and not because anyone expected you to? And I don't think the answer has to be some big, enormous lifestyle overhaul. Don't get me wrong. You don't need to suddenly find 10 hours a week for all these brand new hobbies and go drop hundreds of dollars buying all the supplies. Maybe it's simply an hour. Maybe it's even 30 minutes. It might be pulling out the book that's been sitting on your nightstand. Maybe it's buying yourself a cheap set of watercolor paints. Maybe it's calling the friend that you used to play cards with and saying, why don't we do that anymore? Or maybe it's going back to the karaoke place that you haven't visited in months. Maybe it's taking yourself to a museum or putting music on in your kitchen and dancing while you cook. Maybe it's simply sitting outside with your coffee in the morning instead of immediately checking your email. Maybe it's trying something that you've always wondered about and give yourself permission to be absolutely terrible at it. Because the goal isn't mastery. The goal isn't productivity or monetization. The goal isn't even self-improvement. The goal is simply enjoyment. And my friend, that is enough. You see, you don't have to earn every moment of joy by first checking off everything on your to-do list. I hate to be the one to tell you this, but that list is never going to be finished. There will always be another email, another load of laundry, another bill, another project, another person who needs you for something, another thing that you could or should be doing. And if enjoyment only gets whatever time is left over after everything else is finished, it might never get any time at all. Sometimes you have to decide that joy deserves a place on the calendar too. Not because you've been through something terrible. Joy doesn't have to be earned. Not because you need to find yourself. Joy is not a destination. Not because somebody prescribed self-care. Joy is not a fix. Just because this is your one and only life, and you deserve to enjoy some of it. There's a beautiful little verse in Ecclesiastes that I think fits this conversation perfectly. Ecclesiastes 3:12 and 13 says, "So I concluded there is nothing better than to be happy and enjoy ourselves as long as we can. And people should eat and drink and enjoy the fruits of their labor, for these are gifts from God." How beautiful is that? I love it. Because Scripture doesn't tell us that every moment has to be quote unquote productive. Yes, there is work, and yes, there is responsibility, service, and sacrifice. But yes, there is also enjoyment. And I think sometimes we can become so focused on what God is asking us to do that we forget to receive the good things that He's already given us to enjoy. A laugh with a friend, music that stirs your soul or your dancing shoes, creativity, nature, food, movement, rest, whatever brings a little more light into your life. Maybe enjoying those things isn't something that we need to feel guilty about. Maybe sometimes it's simply receiving a gift. And so here's your challenge for the week, and it's ridiculously simple. Go do something, one thing, simply because you enjoy it. And I'll ratchet it up a notch. Make it something you haven't done in a really long time. That's it. It doesn't have to improve you. It doesn't have to make you money. You don't have to post about it. Nobody else even has to know you did it. And you definitely don't need to be good at it. Maybe you return to something that you used to love. Maybe you try something completely new. Who knows? Maybe you make room simply for something you're already doing, but you never allow yourself to fully enjoy it because in your mind, you're running through the next 5 things on your list. So whatever it is that you choose, give yourself permission to be completely present for it. And when that little voice says, "Shouldn't you be doing something more productive?" tell it, "Be quiet. I am. I'm enjoying my life." Because this life isn't only something that you're supposed to manage, my friend. It's something you're supposed to live. And sometimes living intentionally means doing something for no other reason than because it makes you happy. Well, that's it for today, my friend. I really hope this episode inspired, encouraged, or just plain comforted you. If so, please share it with a friend who might be struggling in her own healing journey. And if you take a moment to leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts, you'll help other women find encouragement through their heartbreak. Remember that God is holding your hand along this journey. And guess what? I'm holding the other. Life is short, so bounce back, Black woman.